Joining our discussion now is Simon Rosenberg, Democratic strategist and author of the Hopium Chronicles on Substack. So, Simon, Donald Trump came in second last time, which means he has to get more votes this time than he got last time. And I have not heard him say a single thing on a single issue to try to convince a voter who didn't vote for him last time to vote for him this time. Doesn't Donald Trump have to change voters' minds about him to win?
Yeah, look, I think this is a really important point. I mean, Donald Trump is a far weaker candidate than he was in 2020. He's much further away from the electorate. He's far more degraded, by the court cases and the things you were describing earlier. He's far more extreme. He's far more dangerous. His performance on the stump is far more erratic and disturbing. I mean, he's sort of gone into this kind of madness when he's talking now. And, I think there are going to be 6 things in this election that people are going to come to learn about Donald Trump that they didn't know about him last time that I think are going to make it very difficult for him to win, right? That he raped E. Jean Carroll in a department store dressing room, that he oversaw one of the largest financial frauds in American history, that he stole America's secrets, lied to the FBI, and shared them with other people, that he led an insurrection against the United States and has promised to finish the job if he's elected, that he and his family corruptly have taken more money from foreign governments than any family in American history. And now we have this ongoing extremism around reproductive freedom and health that is just shocking. And he's singularly responsible for ushering in this kind of assault on women and freedoms and their personal freedoms. And I think all of these together, to me, paint a picture. Blind man and the elephant. When you put the whole elephant together, this is the ugliest political offering that we've seen in America since the 1850s in the Democratic Party in those days. This is an ugly and diminished figure. And I think that the idea that somehow you can look at all this and see Donald Trump with strength rather than weakness and him doing well rather than struggling, I think is a little bit too far. It's a bridge too far, I think, in the political commentary these days.
So the strongest issue that Donald Trump has going for him was the strongest issue he had going for him last time, and as distinguishing from Joe Biden, and that is the security of the southern border. Yeah. He lost last time running on that issue against Joe Biden. Joe Biden has more vulnerability about it now because he's been in charge of the southern border as president. But you have a situation where Donald Trump ordered the Republicans in the United States Senate to abandon the bill they negotiated themselves and ordered House Republicans not to vote for that bill, which would have been the biggest legislative advance in security at the southern border in possibly the history of the southern border. I mean, so he took away in that way much of his own issue.
Listen, all of their talking points about Biden have evaporated in the last few months, right? The economy is strong. It isn't weak. Inflation isn't raging. It's way down. Crime isn't exploding across the country. Murder rates and violent crime rates are dropping. There isn't any kind of war on energy. We saw more domestic oil and renewables produced last year than any year in American history. And so what they had left was the border and immigration, right? This was their big issue. And they bungled it badly because of Trump's impulsivity, his madness, his craziness, that he somehow believes that by keeping the border open and immigrants flowing into the country, it's going to help him. And we just saw this litigated in New York 3, right? This was the major issue in the New York race. And we won that race by 8 points because what Tom Suozzi was able to say is if you want the border to be secure and for there to be order on the border and fewer immigrants coming into the country, then you should work with Democrats. If you want the border to be chaotic and chaos in cities with immigrants pouring into the cities, then you should be with the Republicans, right? How they put themselves in this position is one of the biggest political errors that we've seen in recent elections. And I think it goes back to this idea that he's descended into this form of madness and extremism, and that he's impulsive, and that he's making extraordinary mistakes that are going to make it much easier for us to win. And so in every way possible, Lawrence, I have this basic view. Joe Biden has been a good president. The country's better off. The Democratic Party is strong and winning elections all over the country. And they have Trump, the most unfit guy to ever run for president in American history. I'll take those odds as we head into November.
Simon